Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's webinar about creating website pages for your Agent Studio website. My name is Mickey Taylor, and I will be doing your webinar today. I am the founder and CEO of Taylor & Company Travel, and I utilize the Agent Studio platform for my business with a lot of success. And I'm here to share with you some of the ways that I use Agent Studio to create some new website pages for on my website. So during the webinar, if you have any questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat section, and I will work them in throughout the webinar. Let's go ahead and get started. The first place, if you're following along, you're going to go to the bottom of your website and click on, if you're logged in, it will say Control Panel. If not, I believe it says Admin. You'll want to click on that. You will have to log in if you aren't already logged in to your Control Panel. Whoops. And once into the Control Panel, we're going to go down and spend our time under the Pages section. If you click on Site Pages, that's going to show you all of the pages that are currently created and being used for your website. And as you can see, I have a lot. I often have agents say, how many pages can you have? Well, I will scroll down through here, infinite number. So that's all the pages that I have, and you can create as many as you need to. Now, if you were going to look at how to create some new pages, so let's go ahead and we're going to click on Create a New Page. And the first thing that will come up will be a page name. And actually, I'm going to jump over to a demo website so that I don't keep making pages on my own website. I'm going to sign in here for the demo. Again, I'm going to scroll down. We're going to be in Pages. Actually, yeah. So you can see the different, there aren't that many created in this platform. So once you're ready, we're going to click on Create New Page. And the first thing that I want to show you, when I do the webinars on creating new website pages, normally once agents come to it once, they might come a second time if they miss something or have another question, but that's pretty much it. So I do go over a lot of the same types of web pages, but just because I'm doing the same type of pages in the webinar doesn't mean that you can't create a different look and feel to those pages, okay? And the first thing that I'm going to do is show you how to take a PDF, it could be a flyer, it could be a brochure, anything like that, and turn that document into a website page. So I'm going to just give this a name of Test PDF. Now, the next step, the parent page. If what you're creating, if you're on the Elite platform and you want this page to have its own tab across the top of your website, then you wouldn't have a parent page. But if you're on the Professional or below, you can only add pages under an existing menu. So we'll just put this under Destinations. And the page type is going to be standard content. And I'm going to I don't know what PDF I'm going to pull, so I'm going to wait and give it a name after I do this. Okay, so the first step in adding a PDF is to click on link, and we're going to upload. And then we're going to click on choose file. I'm going to go into okay, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to pull, this is where I'm pulling, whoops. Okay, this is fine. Actually, I clicked on something. It brought it up so quick, I didn't know exactly what I clicked on. So this is about Cocoa Privé. Whoops, what's going on? I'm going to, once you choose the file, you have to send it to the server. If you don't send it to the server, this process is not going to work. So we're going to click send it to the server, and you'll see in the URL box, it gives you a link. So we're going to copy that link, click on OK, and it automatically pastes the link into the body of this page. Okay, that's not the complete link. We have to link it to your actual website. So what you want to do is come up into the address bar and copy everything from .com forward. Okay, so highlight that and then copy it. And then we're going to paste it to the front of the link that was created when you uploaded that PDF. Okay, make sure you don't copy, if you look up here, there's slash behind the .com, make sure you don't copy that, because if you have backslash, this is not going to work. Okay, so once you have that pasted in front of the initial link, copy the entire thing, then delete it. Then we're going to come over to this iframe icon, which looks like a globe. And the first box is the URL, and we're going to paste that in there. Now you can give it a height and a width. Let's see, let's just play a little bit. And these honestly are just, you guess at these, and then once you do a few of them, you'll become familiar with exactly what height and width works the best with your website. Okay, depending on how you have your pages laid out, everybody's height and width can be different. Now, enable scroll bar means that if the page is too tall to fit into a 1400 by 1200 height and width, that the scroll bar will allow visitors to scroll down and look at the rest of the document. Show frame border, if you want to frame around it, you can click that. Okay, now all you have to do is click on OK. And last step is to click, and you'll see it's empty. It looks like an empty box. You scroll up, it will say iframe. And we want to make sure we're centering this document on the page. Otherwise, it's going to be lopsided. It isn't going to look that great. Now we have this iframe, and let's go up and save this. And before I save it, I'm going to copy this link so that I can show you what it looks like. I don't know why I keep scrolling down here. Oh, shoot. Okay. This is why I said I was doing this at the end. Okay, so, okay, we're just going to put Cocoa Privé in there. And now save this. Perfect. Now, if I want to show you how this page works, I'm going to come here and open it up. And now what this is a presentation about this resort. Now, as you can see, it's a little wider than the screen. So if I was making this into, and Deb has a question, can the width and height be a percent? No, you can use percent to figure out what the number should be to put in there, but you can't enter it as a percent. No, it has to be entered the way that I showed you. And this one, if this was an actual website page, I would want to go in and make the width not as wide. So clients or visitors don't have to scroll back and forth. Okay, so this gives you some basic information about this resort. Now, you can use this tool or way of creating a website page can be super, super useful. You can do many things with this. You can, we're going to go back in, and up at the top of the page, you'll see that it starts immediately. It has the name, and then it starts right away into the document. So what if we wanted to link this to our trip inquiry form or a booking form, any of those? How do we do that? What if we wanted to put a little bit of additional information about Coco Privé in front of this? We can do that as well. So I'm going to go back in. We could edit here, but I want to go back in and show you. This sometimes gets a little persnickety and doesn't always work exactly how you think it should. I just personally like to go back in to the control panel where I'm comfortable and make my changes from in there. So you'll see that the test PDF is here. I'm going to click on that and it opens back up. Now, to add any of the additional information that I referenced, we can move down the iframe a little bit. We can come up to the top, and maybe we want to add some additional information. So let's jump out to Coco Privé. Okay, so let's scroll down and see what we have here. Maybe this is what we want to grab. Okay, so I'm going to grab just this little bit of information right there, and I'm going to paste it into here. It's kind of boring, so let's, spruce it up a little bit. Remember, this is a web page that visitors to your website are, going to see. You wanted to sell the resort, the cruise, whatever it is that you're marketing. Make it bold. Okay, so you can use all of these tools that are here. Maybe you want to grab a little bit more. That looks a little bare. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of each of this information. And let's grab one more. Okay, change this color. And any of this is all just ideas for you. So you can set these up any way that you would like. So there's a little bit of information about the resort. Now, in the middle down here, maybe this is where you want to put and put resort inquiry. Now we want to link this. Let's make it a little bigger. Now we want to link that out to wherever you have a trip inquiry, resort inquiry, maybe you just have a contact us page, whatever form you want to link to this, go out, and I'm going to pop onto my page and just grab my form, the URL. So you'll go to your website. I'm logged in, so I see this edit form builder. When you go to my website, visitors don't see that. And I grab the URL for that form. I'm going to highlight resort inquiry, come up here to the chain link and paste that URL. You'll notice that it automatically changes to HTTPS because our websites are now secure. And we're going to say okay. And now this is a hyperlink. A little bit of space there, but also a good idea is to also put that at the bottom because they might have seen that at the top. And we all know that everybody isn't they don't pay attention as much as we'd like. So let's also put that at the bottom. And you can change the words. Maybe you want to make this trip inquiry, or you can keep them the same. Change the color, make it a little bigger, bold it. And because we also have the link, let's see if the link is still saved. And it is. So now we have a trip inquiry at the bottom. We've added a little bit of information at the top about Coco Privé. It sounds good, sounds something, when I read this, I'm interested. I want to see a little bit more about it. And let's go up and save. Remember to save after every time you make a change, because if you don't, it will be lost. Okay, now, another thing that I want to point out to you is this page that we're creating could be a link to something else. Meaning, if we come over to, let's see, I'm going to come in here to my site and show you how I've utilized, and again, all of this edit stuff, you don't see when you normally go to this page. Ooh, that doesn't look good. I need to fix that. Sometimes when you use third-party plugins, sometimes they don't always work the way you would like. Safari sometimes does have some issues, like we just saw. When I'm in Google Chrome, it almost always, I don't know if I've ever seen it not show up correctly on the bottom of the page. But what I showed you was, oh, now it's okay. So, that's how Safari acts sometimes. It's something that we just can't help. We have a question, so I'm going to look. India says, not sure if I missed it, but why not choose iframe instead of standard for page type? Because you have to, India, we were adding a PDF. So we had to go through certain steps in order to get the PDF document actually on the server and linked to your website. So that's why we walk through those steps. If you are linking something that you already have the URL for, you definitely can just choose iframe, and I will demonstrate that in a little bit, but that's why I chose to set this one up the way that I did, because we had to get the document uploaded and get a link for this document. And the document itself, you can, it can be a complete page. Whoops. Where did I put this? in itself. So it's test page. So when somebody clicks on this, Coco Privé, you get the information that we already set up. Here's a resort inquiry that's going to link out to whatever form you wanted to link it to. And again, you see how this is too wide. Definitely want to tighten that up a little bit if this was an actual page. And when we get to the bottom, we have the trip inquiry again. Okay, so you could have this be the page that's out there, or maybe you want to link this page to something like I did, which is link it to a button, link it to an image. If we wanted to take this page, now we'll do, I'll start another page and show you how you can take this page that we just created and link it to another page. So let's go back into the control panel, and we're going to click create a new page. Now, if we're linking this page about Coco Privé to somewhat of a landing page, sort of like this. So we're going to link it and set up maybe a page about the Maldives, and we have 5 different resorts or 3 or whatever that you're going to promote in the Maldives. The way that we do this is by going to close this out. This page won't actually need to be visible because we don't want it to show up under a pull down or a drop down menu. So I'm going to click on the little icon that looks like an eye, and I'm going to create a new page. And now this page is what is going to be our Maldives landing page. Resorts. Now give it the same page URL. Parent page. We're still going to want it under destinations, and it's still going to be standard content. Okay, so now that we have that, how do we easily insert these images and put some information at the top? Well, you can do that in a couple ways. And the easiest way is to come in, and if you take your cursor across the icons, you'll see that there's one that kind of looks like a tablet. It's the table. So we're going to insert a table, which is just like a table that you would insert into a Word document or into a PowerPoint presentation. It works exactly the same way. So if you've worked with a table there, it's the same exact thing. Let's do 6 rows. How many images? Let's say we have 3 resorts that we want to promote. So we're going to choose 3. And if you want a header, you can select first row, first column, or both. That will tell you, that will leave a space for you to put a header, or you can just type it above the table, whichever you prefer. Border size, if you want to change the border that goes around the table. If you want to center it, you can choose center, otherwise not set, and you can center it after the table is created. Okay, width, it defaults to 500. I normally leave it this way, and you can change it after you've set up the table if you need to. If you want to add a caption, the caption will show up at the top of the page, or a summary, which we're going to add a summary to this page about the Maldives, but you can, you don't have to enter it here. You can enter it right into the content body. So we're going to click on OK. Now we have this neat little table. that we can build out. But we want to put some information at the top of the page about the Maldives. So I'm going to grab that by coming into the destination section from our Agent Studio website and click on Maldives. And I can't spell. Okay. And you can grab this information from anywhere. There might be, you know, a particular site that you like about the Maldives or whatever destination it is that you're promoting or creating the page for. Okay, I'm just going to grab just a little bit, like the first 2 paragraphs, just for the sake of the webinar, but you can add as much information at the top as you would like. Again, these webinars are just to give you ideas, show you how you can be creative and create pages to add additional information to your website, because if you don't change anything, it is going to be a lot like, you know, some other Agent Studio websites if you go with the defaults that are set up, and everybody wants to put their own personality into their website and everybody wants to promote different things. Maybe one person has a handful of resorts they like. They like to AM resorts and they like sandals. So that's going to be a main focus of some new pages on their website. Somebody else might not really be so much attached to or enjoy selling a particular resort brand, but they love Cancun. So they want to set up, you know, a page with a lot of links and information about Cancun. These are just ways that I'm showing you that you can take information and add some flair to your personal website. Okay, if you want to, increase the size a little bit. If for old eyes like I have, can make it a little larger. And let's just put Maldives here. You can do the same thing. And now I'm going to show you another way to change up the colors. So if you have a certain color palette that you have selected for your website, and you want to continue that same color palette throughout all of the new pages that you've created because you want it to all be cohesive, but you look here and this is just not quite the color. How do you change that? So if you look at the source button and we click on that, now what we see back here, this is the code and the commands that make the page function the way that we want it to. So a lot of tech people, website developers, they know what all of these commands are, so they can just come in here and type it in. We don't, or most of us probably don't. Some of you may have some background, but that doesn't mean that we can't change any of this back here. So it's fairly simple to understand. This gives you the font size. If I wanted to make this 28, I can change it here instead of changing it on the front. It gives you the color. Okay, here is the code for the color purple that I chose. Okay, if you have the code for your website, I used to have mine memorized. This isn't exactly it. So I'm just going to put in something and we'll see what we get. But if you have the code, you can enter the code here. Strong means it's bold. If you don't want to bold something, you can delete this. Okay. And delete it in the back. Okay, so that's how you can get this customized to mirror the other pages, the colors, the font style, everything that is on the rest of your website. Now, if we come back here, you'll see this change this purple to now it's a teal color, and it's no longer bold. But if I want this to be bold and click that again and come back in here, you'll see that it has strong entered again or added again. I need to add page name. So that's, the way that you can change up that information. Now, how are we getting the images? What are we linking that new page to? Well, we want to link it to an image. So if we want to use an image for the resort, we can, I can't right click on this because it's going to change. You can get the images from anywhere. Most of the resorts, if you are using these images to promote their resort, they do not have a problem with the use of the images. So I'm going to just grab that. I'm going to put my cursor in the center. Now I want to insert the image that I just did a screenshot for. I'm going to come up here to the icon that is an image and click on that. I'm going to click on upload because I have to get the image from my computer onto the server. And that's going to be under my desktop and right here. Now, don't forget, you have to send it to the server or the image won't show up. So send it to the server, it automatically defaults to a certain size. You can make this, again, whatever you want. Now, if you want to be able to adjust the width and height separately, all you have to do is click on this lock, and now you can make the image the size that you want. Maybe we wanted this to be 300 by 300. Okay, then click OK. If you wanted to have a border, you can put 1 in there or 2, however thick you want the border to be. In alignment, left or right, because we already have it set. Our cursor's already in the center, so that option isn't in there. We're going to say OK. Now, when we look at this, it looks a little long, but we can play around a little bit and click into the next column. We're going to add another image. I think it just moved my cursor. There we go. Now, I'm going to jump out here and just grab another image. If you were creating this about different resorts, obviously you would choose an image for a different resort. But for the sake of the webinar, I'm just going to grab the same one too. Okay, save this to downloads, and there it is. Now this one's going to show up really large originally. Again, send it to the server, and yeah, see how large it is. Now what I was mentioning before was clicking the lock so we could change the width and the height. If we don't click that and we change this, you see how it will automatically give it a certain height. But we would probably want those images to be the same size. So I'm going to make it 300 by 300. And that didn't work. Why not? Let me try that again. Now it's going to tell me that I've already uploaded this image. Just say okay if you upload an image more than once. It might not shrink enough. Okay, that image is not going to work. And from time to time, you will come across images like that where it isn't going to decrease in size the right way. So I'm just going to do a screen grab of this, and we're going to pretend that this is an image from the second resort that we're going to promote on this page. Oops, desktop, and grab this one. Okay, now we're going to change this. Now, this one worked. Okay, we want a border. Whoops. I'm going to say okay. Now we have 2, but we have 3 columns because we had 3 resorts that you wanted to promote. And I'm going to grab another image just from here. Maybe the next resort, you have a really nice image of the resort or room. That one's not a really good image. Okay. Okay, for webinar's sake, we're going to just screen grab a little bit of this and do the same exact thing. Make sure our cursor is in the 3rd column. Go back to the image, click on upload, click on choose file, send the image to the server. And now we'll have to click the lock and set this also to 300 by 300. Wanted to have a border. I'll choose 2 and show you the difference. You might not even be able to see the difference between them. You can a little bit. Okay, so now we have our page. Looks a little wide. I don't like people to have to scroll. It's entirely up to you. If you look at this and you think, oh, the image is too tall, or you want to change something about it, you can click the image, then click the image icon, and it brings you right back to where we started, and we could change that here. But to keep it all the same for now, I'm going to let it be the same as we have it set up. And now down at the bottom here, you might want to put the name of the resort. Add a little flair, a little color if you'd like. You can do the same here. Coco Privé is one that I use a lot. This just anything, making it up. Okay. Whoops. Okay, so now we have our landing page. So I'm going to come up and save the page. And I'm going to, you can see that Maldives is still visible. So if we go to destinations and click on Maldives, we're going to see the page that we just created. Okay, you can make any changes. You can edit here and come in, change any text. Like I mentioned prior, I like to go into the actual page to make any adjustments to the images and things. I'm just more familiar with it in the control panel. It's easier for me to manipulate. But when you click in any of these, you know, you do get the same menus. I just like and prefer to do it in the control panel. So with that being said, I do want to go back into the control panel. I want to clean up this table a little bit. And if you want to also put like trip inquiry down at the bottom. It's always a good idea to have those links so that people that are visiting your site can easily have a way to reach out to you. So I'm going to come back in here. I'm going to click on the Maldives page. Scroll down to the body of this. And I want to remove this first row. So what I did to get that, I'm on a Mac. So I think if you're on a PC, you can just right click, but with your mouse, I'm pulling up the drop down menu, and the row, I want to delete the row. And just like that, it took that row away. Again, at the bottom, I want to delete all of these rows. So I highlighted those. Now, on my Mac, it doesn't always work the right way. If I click delete cells, all it did was delete this one cell. So I have to delete these one at a time, which sometimes can be annoying if you have a lot of rows that you want to delete. That's why I start with only a few rows. You can also, as you can see, you can insert rows. So start with a few and then you can make your adjustments. Now we've cleaned up the table, but we want to put our, here we go. Put your cursor below the table, give it a little space, center it. Okay, there we go. And we're going to put trip inquiry again. Again, let's make it bold, bigger. You can use third-party plugins that some of them this will flash, you can make it blink, it will, basically make this talk so that it stands out and grabs people's attention. So I'm going to jump back to my website, go back to that form, and grab the trip inquiry link again. And now, as I mentioned before, with this highlighted, go up to the link, paste that URL, click on OK. And that to me is not really big enough. So I want to come down here and I want to, make it really bold, really stand out. Okay, now the only other thing we need to do is we need to link the image to the original PDF that I created. So I'm going to come up here and save the page. From in the control panel, I'm going to click on the test PDF. And actually in the real world, this would be Coco Privé. And then we would change the page URL. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to save it again because I changed the name of it. Now we're going to open back up the Maldives resorts, and I'm going to link that page to the first image, which is Coco Privé. Again, you go back to the link and just paste that URL and say OK. And now we're going to scroll up and save the page again. And now when we go to destinations, click on Maldives. This is what your page would look like. Now, you see we have the Maldives twice, so we might want to get rid of this one. Or this one, either one, whichever you prefer. Now, it gives a little bit of information about the Maldives. Here are the three resorts that we are promoting on our page. If they click any of these, you'll see it brings them right into the page about Coco Privé. gives the resort inquiry again. They can see those everywhere, or you can put a contact us some places so that it doesn't look like you're trying to be like, hey, inquire about a trip. You know, you can change up the verbiage a little bit, and they can scroll down, and at the bottom is the trip inquiry. So that's how, and you see it didn't take us that long. Obviously, you'll want to do a little research. The best thing that I can tell you before you start making pages is to create a layout, an outline of how you want your website to look, where you want things to be, because that will then make creating the pages a lot easier. It'll save you time. You won't go, I've spent a lot of time, I'll make a page and then think, that's not really what I want. And I go back to my roots of when I first gave Agent Studio, they made the original draft of my website. And when I originally had them set it up, I gave them an outline of what I wanted on each page, what subpages were linked to what. I had it all laid out. It does save you a lot of time. And even though I did that in the beginning, when I started adding additional pages and changing things, I was like, oh, I know what I want. So I would just start making the pages. And sometimes I ended up not using them. And we don't have enough time in the day as it is between trying to actually sell travel and do everything else that we need to do as an agency throughout the day. The last thing we want to do is waste time creating a page that we're not going to use. So take some time and plan it out through an outline, and it will give you an idea, you know, and you can look at it and make sure that's what you want. But in that short little bit of time, we've taken, you know, a PDF that I was able to get from the website for the resort. That could have been their brochure if they had a brochure. There are a lot of ways that you can change this up. And again, that could have been the Caribbean. The page could be called the Caribbean, and you might want to showcase some of the different locations and destinations that you like to sell in the Caribbean. So you can use this basic page for numerous different types of ways to promote resorts and services and different types of travel on your website. Now, before I go and demonstrate an iframe where you are pulling in another website, does anybody have any questions about any of the pages that I created today? I'm going to go out and grab a link. I'm going to use my blog to link into this demo site as an iframe. So if you have any questions, please, again, just go ahead and type them into the chat box. Now, be careful what you are iframing in. If you're iframing in another website, please make sure that you do yourself a favor and make sure that that doesn't have any booking tools on it, that you know where the information is coming from, and that what you're linking isn't going to somehow either very blatantly or in a roundabout way lead someone down a path where they have the ability to lose that sale. You don't want that link from a website to lead your clients away from booking or inquiring with you on your website. So this is my blog, so I feel very comfortable linking it into my website. So I'm going to jump back into the control panel. We're going to create a new page, and I'm going to put this one under news. So again, we're going to click on create new page and give it a name. Now, and you'll notice that we only have the ability in the name, page name, for it to be 20 characters. Okay, that didn't work. So you want to, getting into a little bit of SEO, you want to make sure that your page names make sense. So it isn't a good idea to just let this be cut off like that. So what I did, you saw I wanted to call it the Miss Travelist blog, but it didn't fit. So I took out the word the, and I'm just putting it as Miss Travelist blog. Now, parent page, I said I wanted to put it under news, and the standard page type now is going to change to iframe. Now, some of you that are on the professional or the elite platform, when you click on select a page type, you will also have itinerary as an option here as well, because you can take an itinerary that you've made within Travefy and turn it into a website page as well. Okay, but this, I believe this is just the starter, a starter demo site, so that option isn't here. So I'm going to click iframe. Now you can see that at the bottom it looks a little different. The page URL we're going to paste into the page URL field, and then it asks for a page height. So let's make it, I think we use 1400 on the last one. And of course on at the bottom of every page, which I didn't talk about when I created the other pages, is the SEO field. So when you are creating these pages for yourself on your own website, you definitely want to fill in all that information here. But because of time constraints with the webinar, I don't go into detail to add information in here. So I'm going to save the page, but before I do that, if I wanted to test this, I could highlight this and paste it into a new web page, or I can click save, and this is a visible page, so it's going to show up under news, and we'll see right there it has Miss Travelist blog. We're going to click on that, and in the frame below it has pulled in my blog. Okay, and that's how you easily iframe in another website. Okay, anybody have any questions about anything that we went through today? Let me look up here. Nope, just the one question. Any questions at all? Okay, well, while you're soaking up everything that I went through, I'm going to quickly show you where you will be able to find the replays of today's webinar. And it will be available to you by the end of the day tomorrow. And Agent Studio uploads those to their YouTube channel. And you'll receive an email tomorrow about 24 hours after this webinar is over, and it will give you the same information and provide you a link to the Agent Studio video page, which is where you will find the replays. Okay, so it's the first one.
To be a play.
Whoops. And the page we want to go to is the video page. So we're going to click on videos, and they are a little bit behind. They don't have any of last week's videos up. So I've reached out to them. They had initially promised me that within 24 hours, the webinars would be available. If some of you were on previous webinars, I had for a while used a format called Webinar Ninja, which automatically sent out a link within like an hour or two after the webinar ended, to the replay, which I loved, because then we didn't have to wait for any of this to happen. However, the platform had a lot of good features, but when they did a new release, hardly any of it worked. So we went back to Zoom, and I was told that, you know, they'll get these up. Last week was probably a busy week for them. So I did reach out and ask for those to be uploaded, and hopefully the webinar from today will be here and you will see them listed with the name of the webinar. Okay, and that's how you will get to the replay. And again, the link that you will be sent in the email won't take you directly to today's replay. It will take you to this page, but you can see anything they're all over an hour are the webinars that I've done on different topics. Okay, some of these other agent studios pulling in some marketing tips for you in little 30, 45-second little videos. So that's what the other ones are. And let's see, Deb has a question. If we have more detailed questions, who do we send them to? You can send them to me, or you can also reach out to Agent Studio, to their support team, and you can do that in two ways. My suggestion is to submit a support ticket, because they get to the support tickets a lot quicker than general emails. So when you are in your control panel, you can go down to the Help Center. And if you hear that yawning, that's my daughter's dog that's in my office today with me. And you can see support ticket. You can click on this and then fill it out and ask them your detailed questions. So today, just as a reminder, you're welcome. Just as a reminder today, normally I'm always in the Elite platform, whether it be my website or a demo site that is the Elite plan. But today, if you look, this is the starter. And with the starter and the professional, one thing that you can't change are the tabs across the top, but you can add all of your pages that you're creating underneath one of the existing tabs or menus. Okay, if you're on the Elite plan, you can change these however you want them, change the names, what have you. So I wanted to show everyone how the difference in how you can still customize your site within the starter package as well. Let me take one more look up here. We don't have any other questions. If you think of something after the webinar is over, or when you dive in to create your own pages, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email address is in the email confirmation that you received when you signed up for the webinar. Or again, you can reach out to Agent Studio and their support team. One last thing I want to show you, if you haven't already seen this, I know Agent Studio sends out emails about all of the webinars, but if you you can sign up from those emails, or if you click Agent Studio Academy in the control panel, you will see a list of all the upcoming courses. Okay. So with that being said, I would like to thank everyone for coming. Hopefully I will see you on another webinar, and that you found the information today helpful, and you can start customizing your website and putting your own personality into your website presence. So thank you again for taking the time out of your day to join me on the webinar. Have a wonderful week, and maybe I'll see you on another webinar. Thanks for coming.